Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Old World. We are streaming once more. We're doing a spectated game now. I'm not playing, I am watching. We have Aran as Egypt versus Ninjaa as Mario. Let me make sure I make a post to our Discord friends. And let's see if I can't get the link set up here. Oh, that's not the correct one. Are we live? Yes, we are live. Great. Yeah, we have a couple of hours. And yeah, here we are. Hold on. Stream notifications. All right, there we go. So we're live. Let's look at what we got. We have educated scholar, stages opener. What did we get for our technology? We got no, did we got polis. Polis. 4 turns in, we already have divination. So he's going to set himself up with his first shrine, the science shrine. Get his science up and running. Does not look like he was able to settle this turn. We have the Jerwin Aqueduct set up, getting ready to be built later on. The wonders we have in the game are the pyramids. Great Stupa is in the game. I love that wonder. That's my new favorite wonder in the game. Let's see what he chooses to settle his second city before going on to check out Aran's start of the game. Oh, he's moving onward to make sure that he can save his warrior. That makes sense. I like that play. All right, let's hop over to Aran. Aran started with a tactician. So it looks like... Oh, this was the free site. All right, so they're both clearing a site now. Both started warriors. Landowner openers for the Egyptians. Love to see it. Sages second. What did we get for sages? Looks like we did trapping. Oh, is it turn 7 now? Looks like we got trapping or drama. Not. I'm assuming we opened trapping. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So we opened trapping. We just tech drama. Not a bad grab off of a sage tech, to be honest. I like it. We have some rivers around to make use of architecture if we want to go in that direction. Oh, disgusting set of pearls. Disgusting set of pearls. Thank God. Sorry, not pearls, dye. Thank God nobody has traders on this map. Looks like the Marians will encounter the Huns. The Egyptians may as well, but I think the Marians grabbed them first. Yeah, the Marians just to encounter the Huns. So let's take a peek at how they chose to handle the Huns. They chose to keep truce. I like that. I like that quite a bit. I like the inclusion of the Huns in multiplayer. I think it adds a nice kind of like wrinkle to the equation. Makes it a little less simple as just instantly declaring on every tribe as soon as you see it. Gives a little bit of responsibility to, well, play responsible. Are we completely landlocked? We are. Okay. Both players are landlocked. So, settling this location, settling the die spot, and then hopping across is going to create a battlefield. So we'll see who identifies that first. See who identifies that first. How many sites do we have in this? Oh, I can't see. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20. 20, and they cannot reach each other on foot. The land path on the top and the land on and these two opposite opposing corners is completely blocked by a mountainside. So that is fun. Interesting. Champ seat up next for the Marians. I'm curious about the science here, opening science here. Not a huge lead. There are groves in the region, probably going to be landowners right here, right? Attaboy. Love to see it. Love to see it. Great. So double landowner opener. I mean, he did do sages next, but I really like the landowner grab. This is really fantastic territory for an Egyptian landowner. Really good groves. Really good river territory. Nice. I might even do landowners again up here, to be honest. Have this whole river be landowners. Landowners down here would be nice, dude, to get these pearls online and very, very quickly. Not pearls. I keep calling these pearls. Dye. Pearls are so prolific that every time I see dye, I just call them pearls because that's what I think of when I think of any income resource out in the ocean. Really nice crabs as well. All right, he's going to gear himself up for a battle against the Huns. He only has two, well, he has 3 camps, but these guys can't hit him. So that'll be nice. What's unfortunate, though, is that's going to give Egypt the elimination on the Huns. Because obviously it's in Maria's interest to clear out these guys out. And how many camps? It's 3 this way, 3 down here. Fun. When you can't even get to this island either. So even if you did hop across, there's no land route. So there's virtually no land route at all. They would need to buy tiles. So colonies is going to be hugely important. The first person who spots it is going to have to settle here, buy tiles to this, or the other way around, right? Then clear this, settle this, and buy tiles right to this lake and give themselves a slingshot across the map. Immune to ships. So we'll see who spots that first. Oh, it looks like a commander he just assigned. Ninja absolutely just assigned a general, but it looks like that general is dead already. Or maybe an event forced them off the unit. He took a tribal wife who is now in prison. Probably shouldn't have taken the tribal wife. If you have a tribal wife and then want to go declare war on them, you normally will be forced to imprison them. Let's see how the Egyptians are doing. Getting divination next. Building slinger. And tactician is doing tactician stuff. Doesn't look like Aran is not yet aware of the fact that they're landlocked. Once you discover this because of the way the mirror map works, that should give you all the information you need to know that your opponent can't reach you except by sea. So, Ninja, if I'm correct, should have that information. Yes, Ninja has this information. Ninja knows that this corner is mirrored up here, unless he, I mean, only if you can put 2 and 2 together. Sometimes it's hard to remember that with mirror map, which one of the reasons why I like not mirror map, the point symmetry, which is one of the reasons why I like the point symmetry, because it makes it harder to get a sense of exactly what your opponent has access to. Rhetoric coming online for the Marians. Probably maybe into a border boost or maybe directly to forestry. That is a nice border boost, though. Oh, directly to sovereignty. Interesting. He wants nothing to do with the border boost. Going to sovereignty. All right. So it looks like we have one player going land consolidation, if I were to guess. Yep, he has it. Aran has it targeted. And where is Ninja have a target? Ninja's targeting sovereignty specifically. I think he really likes this opening just to get all 4 laws online. Makes sense. Does make sense. And the Jerwan Aqueduct is being constructed by the Egyptians in a Sage city. And you will have all 5 locations to get that science from. So that's a good grab from Aran. No Jerwan for the Morians. Ooh, tough call here. Stone boost versus free settler. Probably free settler, or maybe he gets barracks. Always sucks to see both these boosts in the same hand, though. I think this is a rematch. I think these players faced each other in the tournament. Yeah, because Aran was the tournament elimination finalist, and Ninja plowed his way through the whole bracket. So officially on record, I'm sure they played each other in practice matches before, but officially on record in terms of streamed games, Ninja currently has the win on Aran at the moment. But again, I'm sure they've played plenty of games. It's like, you know, we've all beaten each other privately, at least once, I think. At least those of us who played against each other. I have not yet to face Klaus. And actually, I guess technically, no, not even technically. I haven't beaten Aran yet either. I've beaten Ninja. We tend to go back and forth, having like mini streaks against each other. He'll beat me a couple times in a row, then I'll beat him a couple times in a row. But yes, no, live and on stream, though. This is a grudge match of sorts. Oh, did we get the event? Nice, we get our Divine Stables event. Nice to see that. That same turn we settled our Riders family. Got that right out of the way. He knows what he's doing. Steed of the Gods kicked in. Be curious if he takes it for himself. And he did. So a robust, swift, eloquent tactician. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Eyes up north for the Egyptians. Eyes up north for the Egyptians. I think he's piecing it together. It's going to come down to a naval control this game. And we have forestry next. So let's see. Is he going straight for it? That would be my guess. Yes, he is. Let's hop over to, yep, sovereignty back on the Marians. We have truce with the Numidians, so we did not declare war on them right away. We should be good to go next turn, I imagine. Egypt looking good. Looking really nice in Maria. Two Sage cities. So Sage into Sage versus landowner into landowner. Would like to, very much looking forward to see the end game situation of that. Keeping up on his resource economy, which I like. Just talking about this in my previous game. Nice to see that he's getting his metal online. Sometimes I think metal can be so undervalued that you can forget that you really need to get its income flowing steadily. Weirdly enough, some of my smoother games have started with me building tons of mines, because then you need to buy metal less often when you're spamming your quarries. If you can shoot yourself up to something like 30 or 50 iron per turn pretty easily, I actually think it lends itself to a smoother game, which is nice. I just like all the diverse ways that you can play the game. It's very easy to fall into certain metas, I think. But I think if you're exploring a lot, you can discover some interesting nuances. All right. Your clear rate is rather similar. Just 2 camps behind. But this one's pretty much going to be done next turn. Nice. Like this tile grabbing out here. This is the other thing I really like about the landowner seat. You can really stretch the limits of what you can grab and what can enter your border. Mohawk, if you're watching, they're the weird thing with the words and the fonts in the fog here. Not game ending, but I guess I'll file a bug report. All right. Okay, I'm going to step away just for one quick second, get myself a drink. All right, we are back. Looks like the Marians have made their way across the Black Sea and have eyes on their opponent, I believe. Yep, maybe. Yeah, there he is. Taking a peek. We'll see if Aran will swipe the scout. No, too slow. I always swipe scouts. I am. That's probably the one area where Ninja said, "Thanks for letting me pass." That's the one area where I am not generous. If you're gonna, especially in that case, dude, if you are literally going to walk your scout between my units, I don't care. I'm absolutely hitting you. I'm absolutely going to take a whack at you. You don't get a free pass on that. Stick to the woods, or at the very least, stay away from me. But you don't get to walk in front of one of my units and expect me not to hit you. Pretty sure we're going to codify that in the rules for the next tournament. Because I think Alcaraz and I feel the same way. I think we both feel that, if you're comfortable running simultaneous, scout whacking is probably the one thing that we think is fair game. Like, because, you as the player, as again, back to what we just saw happen, right? You as the player have the ability to keep your scout away from enemy units. So there's a difference between, like, someone who's trying to take what feels like a relatively unfair attack of opportunity versus, like, you're literally just squeaking by military units. Like, oh, excuse me, don't mind me. Even though, yes, you would be able to do it on your turn if it wasn't simultaneous. It's like, I don't know. Keep your distance. All right, let's check out Mario. Statesman all the way down here. Quite nice. Good growth for that. Not too bad. And he has one more settler coming online. No actual exploration towards the east yet. Oh, yeah, yes, he did. He did that with his scout. He has eyes on these 3 sites, and he came across to view his opponent. So neither player specifically understands the nature of the center of the map yet, but they should be pretty aware of the fact that they're going to need a navy or some colony tile line. Tile buying out to here. Clear this. Tile buy across. Looks like Aran will have the easier time grabbing this. That's fun. Champion seed on the water is always amazing. I think if you're on an inland sea map, it feels crucial, or even, I guess, continents or whatever, right? To me, if you're a champion nation and you are on an inland sea map or a map with heavy water presence, you just have to put your champion seat on the coast. That production, it becomes so much easier to get something like 3 or 4 turn biremes, and that can seal the deal in contested waters. 15 turns to land consolidation, and the pyramids coming online. That's wonder number 2 for the Egyptians. Wonder number 1 is the Jerwan, and it's finishing up now. Finish up next turn. See if he has see if he remembers to build a farm this turn. Yep, he's going. There we go. Me personally, I would have done it on the flat land, so it was finished 1 turn quicker. But that's just nitpicking. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, I guess it does. I guess it all adds up. It's all little bits of momentum, but I mean, whatever. I make mistakes all the time. I play like an idiot most of the time. All right, 4 turns on forestry for Ninja if he wants it. See what he decides here. You could also keep going to machinery. Classic play for the Ninja. There is a pretty generous river network here, so I mean, he'll be able to make use of hydraulics quite nicely. There's more rivers over here. Yeah, there's rivers in almost every single city site, so I mean, hydraulics can still pay off considerably. He's going for forestry. All right, he wants those groves, would be my guess. These are really, really nice groves. They give you so much income. 40 gold and 2 happiness. Like these, I think are actually the best groves in the game now. I guess maybe the food ones are still nice, but I like them. I like those more than lavender. Alrighty. Both players have 4 cities. Ninja has 4 laws. You know, the law thing is funny. The last couple of games that I have won, I've had significantly less laws than my opponent. I've been exploring that a lot recently, not prioritizing a law tempo. And it's worked out. Sometimes it doesn't, obviously, but I think it can work out. All right, there go the Scythians. We can get a dog. And we become blessed, which is always fun. Sometimes I click on stuff thinking it will do something, but it doesn't. So this is curious to me. 11 turns to land consolidation for the Egyptians. 3 turns to forestry for the Mauryans. There's a 20-turn science difference. It would be amusing to me if Mario ends up getting land consolidation in a similar time frame as the Egyptians. I'll see if I can spot that later on. The Mauryan economy is a little bit better too. 25 in everything except wood. But Egypt has way better gold. What about power at this stage in the game? Egypt's actually stronger, a little bit stronger. They should be similar. Oh no, Ninja's actually weaker. Nice. Happy to see the flatland quarry spam already. Wasting no time on that. Also coming up with some mountainside ones, of course, but just getting whatever quarries he can. He has a fully promoted unit up here. That's nice. 2 commander generals as well. He's going to want to put his militia on this, I think. Maybe. I mean, I guess Settler could maybe get there in 3 turns. Here you go. Ooh, just short of forestry on this turn. Always frustrating when you're, like, just a couple science off. Let's hop over to Egypt, see how we're doing over here. Settler coming out in 2 turns, Work coming out in 2 turns, Slinger coming out in 3 turns. Eye is on these 2 camps over here, finishing up clearing these camps, holding it with a militia up north. The tactician is making his way back down south. Also, really crucial tile buying opportunity, by the way. Colonies across these mountains would be, I mean, yeah, someone. Yep, we have navigation pinged by Aran. What about Ninja? Ninja's no ping there yet. Still on land consolidation. So if Aran can get these tiles bought and this city settled, that's going to be a huge, huge thing. While also clearing and settling this before Ninja can do the same, that's going to be a massive amount of map control. Potentially game-defining map control. Also, you want to hop here, clear this. But if you can do the same thing over here, clear this, then that gives you lots of pressure from this open bay to launch towards this stuff, which I assume Ninja will grab. Also, I mean, I guess I assume he'll get all of this before Aran gets the boat in the water. But if he could just buy these tiles, maybe even send a scout here. Minor citying this could be very, very strategic. Actually, I like that even better. Get yourself a strong foothold on your opponent's side of the map without one that they can never take away from you. So that would be a really fun, bold play to see Aran execute, or Ninja. Put a boat in this water, or a scout, tile by along this coast, surround this site, give yourself a minor city. Do the same thing down here. In fact, Ninja has the capability to do this with his exploration scouts at the moment. Just obviously, he doesn't have colonies yet. I did that recently to somebody. I had a map similar to this. It was an arid plateau map, and we could not reach each other but for a very awkward narrow pass. And then there were 2 oceans on top and bottom of the map, and I bought across the ocean and I minor citied the city on my opponent's side of the map, which gave me unobstructed landfall potential to that city, and there was nothing you could do about it. You can't take it back. Can't take the minor city. So I've actually explored that tactic recently, and it seemed to work out very well. So I would love to see such a thing here. So act like, what's the religion status? 3 religions in Moria. Very, very happy Buddhists. Well, I mean, I guess the Buddhists don't care. Just the statesmen like us, though, a bunch for some reason. Oh, because we made someone our heir. A schemer. We made a schemer our heir. Looks like we never had a kid, so we had to adopt somebody. That's always a lucky grab. I like doing that intentionally sometimes. Axum's a good nation to do that with. Because it combos with your ability to die quicker. Get yourself one of those early stealths. But if you give yourself an old ruler, you can adopt a fun oligarch. You're rolling the dice on it, but in this case, in Ninja's case, he actually got a pretty decent heir. Schemer. 4.8 science, drunk, so 3.3 civics. Not too bad. And also, he's getting the good opinion off of it. So that's fun. Both players with 5 cities. Looks like Aran will be the first to 6. Ninja's currently working on this site, on his side of the map. Aran is about to settle his southern site, I assume, this turn. Probably we'll see another Sages right here, would be my guess. If I were to guess, I would guess Sages. That's what I would do. I would settle Sages here, and then I would take this worker and come and improve these wheat, this barley. That's 100% what I would do. I would love the timing on that. Oh, we're not force marching it, I guess. Okay, never mind. We'll see where we're at next turn. The Huns are raiding the Egyptians. We have another settler coming out in the Sage seat. It's going to be nicely timed, I think. This will get cleared in 2 turns. Yeah, and soon we'll be fully expanded. First annoying coastal raid from across the bay here. Danes coming at the Marians. We do have a militia that can come hang out and work on it, but still annoying nonetheless. Nice. I like seeing the stone cutter. This is really, really cool to see. Really, really like this grab. He's going to expand his quarry bed. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. One thing I think people make a mistake on is the idea of like saving their citizens, because people think, well, this could be an officer, or this could be, you know, a poet or whatever, right? And that you're not wrong about that. It's a good thing to think about. But this is going to be science now, right? It's going to be science now, science soon, and it's going to increase its economy here. So it's a very nice decision from Ninja. That's actually one of the reasons why I like landowners so much, because I do stuff like that all the time. Some of my landowner cities literally will just have nothing but rural specialists in them. And people, when I talk about that, people will always, do that same argument. Oh, but all those guys could be rural specialists. Yeah, but that means I have to spend stone and worker turns and orders building all that stuff. It's extra time because we know we're going to improve, our ranchers and our mine. We know we're going to build mines and all stuff anyway. So it saves orders. The weird way where it also saves orders. And that's the thing. It's about specialization too. Like it's not that you do that everywhere all the time. It's that you do that where it makes sense. And I think in that particular situation up here, this is going to make sense because he's going to give himself a very, very nice quarry bed up here, which is what he's going to want to catch up on stone econ. In fact, he's already had more than twice as much stone econ as the Egyptians, and he's just leaning into that heavily over here with that decision. So I like that. I like that quite a bit. What wonder did he grab? He grabbed the Great Stupa. He also put it right next to his King Shrine. So we are going to get an extra order per turn from the Stupa. And then, of course, the Stupa gives 2 legitimacy per city when you build the Pillar Edicts, as well as 2 civics. It's a phenomenal wonder. So, going to have a little bit of civics powerhouse coming from the Marians. More than they already get. Nice. Aran is just about ready. So, interestingly enough, Aran has out-cleared. There was a little bit of momentum on Ninja's side at first, but Aran has actually out-cleared his opponent. Which makes sense. His opponent's weaker and learned. In fact, let's take a look at the science investment. Mario currently has about 400 more science invested into the tech tree, so that's about 1 tech or 2. Order economy is neck and neck. Egyptian has better food. Mario better iron. Mario better stone. Nobody's working on wood yet. Let's look at workers. 7 Egyptian workers to 4 Marian ones. Both players with 22 improvements. Very even on the worker turns as well. Cool stats to keep track of. Wow, and we went riders up here. Okay. I was not, honestly, I was not expecting that. I guess he wants to make use of the horse and get that promotion. Okay. I wouldn't have expected that, though, personally. Or rather, that's not what I would have done. Still a good decision. I like the riders. Land consolidation in 1 turn for the Egyptians. And see, I was right. Only 2 turns for Maria. So they're going to get it at roughly the exact same time, even though Ninja took time to deviate to aristocracy, rhetoric, and sovereignty. That's really nice news for Ninja. In fact, what did we say? We said he's about 400 science ahead in the tech tree. That's the 400 science right there. He's about to get the same technology as his opponent while having this 200 and this 200-ish. Very good job, Ninja. Of course, when you open with sages and a scholar, you're definitely gonna get a bump up in tempo like that. Still, however, the Egypts did beat Marians by the 1 turn, and I suspect they're going to be ready to dive into building groves right now on this turn. We'll see how long the Marians take to invest in their groves. But I see, yep, we have a builder here. I suppose we'll see 3 groves get started on this turn. Weirdly enough, Aran doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, man. Yep, grove, grove, grove. There we go. 3 groves. 3 groves started. Great to see. Great to see. See if Ninja does something similar. He doesn't really have the work. Oh, he had the worker setup. Yeah, I love the preemptive setup of the workers on the improvements. That's fun. Interesting. Doing an inquiry. 6-turn inquiry. Where's he headed next, do we think? Hopefully navigation. Somebody better spot that. And Aran already has. I know Ninja, though. He's probably going to go to hydraulics next. Keep his science tempo moving. This is the turn, though, for him to make that decision. Machinery is in the deck. Navigation is 1 cycle away. He is a scholar. Navigation would be the correct play, in my opinion. Get yourself some biremes into the ocean now. Start crossing onto these islands and clearing out this rabble. So we want to see a cycle, or, grab a free archer, because screw it, who cares, right? Why do anything right? When you have a tech lead, I guess you can afford to grab the archer. I don't think that's really a major priority. We have the free horseman in the discard pile. You get to machinery quicker. This inquiry would probably help us get to the machinery in the 5 turns that it will take it to finish. It was a 7-turn machinery, so maybe that clears. Actually, that probably only would clear 1 turn, come to think of it. But no, the groves are going to come online in that time frame. I don't know, maybe. Could be close. Certainly would take a turn off of it. And then, of course, navigation. Get your champ seat to get some biremes in the city, into the ocean. And we already have some. Oh, wait. We don't have border collapsing on Egypt yet. Almost. Getting aristocracy next. Yeah, so Ninja already has all of these, right? And they both got land consolidation on almost the exact same turn, and Ninja already has all of this stuff, including labor force. The only attack that Ninja has, that Aran has, that Ninja doesn't, is trapping and polis. Oh, no, trapping and drama. Sorry, trapping and drama. That's 200 science that Ninja doesn't have compared to 2, 4, 520, 520 science that Ninja doesn't have. Sorry, Aran doesn't have. Check the science rate. All right, Aran's catching up, but Ninja's about to have a little spike with his groves in a second. Although Aran's going to have a really easy time putting gardeners in these cities, in these things, groves. Hmm. Okay. 6 barracks or ranges. We could actually do that, but we don't have the technology, so probably going to say no to that. Navigation. Although we are young, we could say yes to that. Put 2 barracks in every city pretty easily. Navigation in 2 turns, so Aran has his priorities right. Looks like. The Odeon is a fascinating build here. What, I guess he's going to put a poet in it? Quarry? Nope. Hamlet. Oh, he's just trying to pop borders. Okay, I dig that. Odeon into Hamlet. Shrine of Ra being finished. I like that. That's going to buff these farms right here. Also can buff farms around this river. Settler coming out in 2 turns. Really decent border boost. Really, really decent border boost. Okay. There's no way he's ignoring that border boost. I think he's going to wait until this finishes and then pop the border boost. So we'll see if he forgets. And now it's time to get some luxuries online. I might go, although I guess we're landowners, so maybe going for the honey first would make sense. Let's look at the money econ, actually. Egypt is swimming in gold. Mario, not so much. They're not in the negative, though, which is nice. Be curious how quickly Egypt opts to start building a ship. I would like to see at least 1 build queue turn into building a ship. No. Being pretty steady with his military production as well. He has a unit coming out in 2 cities at the moment, compared to Ninja not building a single military unit. Oh, I guess he's building 1 up north in Taxila. But if Aran can get ships in the water and cross to the north, I think Ninja being weaker will have a hard time contesting. Especially if Aran is able to bring some 4 law timing to bear on that front as well. Oh, I really like the landowner's positioning here. This is what 100% what I would have done. You're gonna get all these dies online pretty quickly, and that's just nice. All right, he's doing border boost now. Nope, he's gonna do husbandry. Yeah, I think he's trying to save it. Pop this with the city, and then get the border boost, I guess. Let's see if he remembers to swap or if he's going on purpose. I feel like he's not going to husbandry on purpose. No, no. It's not discarded. It's only discarded if you research the other technology. So he put 1 turn into husbandry, but the research didn't finish. So it only gets discarded if you research something else. Good question, though. Yeah, you can micro your research like that around bonus cards. The only ones you really want to do that for, I think, would be border boost. And is there anyone else that you would micro like that? I don't think so. No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, border boost is the only one that really makes sense to do that with, I think. But yes, there are some times where people will micro their research sometimes across in other situations to I don't know, delay something, I guess. But yeah, so basically this is your hand of technologies. And when a bonus card says if you do not research it, it gets discarded. What it means is if you fully research something else from this hand. But you can always click on something to research it, and then if you change your mind, like monasticism, right? If we change our mind in 3 turns, we could stop and swap to administration and do that instead. So if you, yeah, that's a more kind of advanced play for the border boost thing, is to try and delay it to get a maximized border boost, and that is in fact what he chose to do. So cool, good on Aran. Looks like he's making his way to this final camp. Has way better progress against this clearing than Ninja does, and he's 1 turn away from navigation. So I really am hoping we see a boat hit the water as soon as Nav gets finished. Did he have the Grand Vizier? Oh, he had the Grand Vizier. So he might not get a choice. But we'll see. Stupa is being finished by the Marians in 3 turns. The Mahavihara is in the game. Colossus and Chthon are all in the game. Or both in the game. Those could be fun on this map. Monumental Buddhist is fun. Well, I mean, I guess the Marians kind of negate that a little bit, but I really like that wonder in general. It's a strong wonder. Really makes the political game easier. All right, moving up. Mill drill in one turn for the Egyptians. That's going to be nice. Get some barracks online, get some ships in the water, get units across the shore, across the coast, across the sea. Our seas are the Black Sea, the Ionian Sea, and the Icarian Sea. What are we building over here? Garrison, great. Yep, so we'll get our garrisons up just in time for our barracks to start coming to. And we have a garrison up here as well. Nice to see the building of a farm on marsh. Good way to get some extra wood. And of course, now we can build lumber mills all along this river. This is a really, really fantastic lumber mill spot. Very nice to see. Very, very nice to see. Yeah. All right, we have some really strong progress from Aran on this game. I think it's really looking to go his way. He's getting monasticism next. Their science has leveled out, 76 to 75. Which is quite cool to see. Yeah, and then Aran has now fully expanded to his side of the map. What is the breakdown? We have 4 landowner cities, 2 riders, and 2 sages. I dig it. That's a nice combo. That's a nice combo. I dig it quite a bit. All right, so now, do we have colonies? No, he went serfdom first. God damn it. That's a misplay, in my opinion. You wanted colonies and you want to tile buy up here. You want colonies and you want to tile buy over here. That would be the first thing I would do. We have 600 civics, even if I just swapped immediately back into serfdom. I mean, these are your routes across. Especially the fact that I can still see these guys. I would consume this. I would tile buy all. We have an amazing gold income. I would minor city this. That would be a fantastic play. Tile buy to here and cross. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I got excited for the creative play, but I guess we aren't seeing it just yet. Although we can leave it to Ninjaa to figure it out. Ninjaa could figure it out. Ninjaa tile buys all the time in the most annoying ways. So I wouldn't put it past him. But it'll be unfortunate because if Aran comes back and looks back on this game, if it ends up in a loss for him, I feel like, and it comes down to something like tile buying, like maybe Ninjaa does some creative tile buying or whatever. That'll be a kicking yourself in the head type of moment. Really, really nice. Look at all this. This is the correct way to handle stone income. We have 200 stone income per turn. Nary a mountain quarry in sight. Barely any, right? We're building the necropolis next. Fantastic. This is how it's done. Flat land, arid quarries. This is a quarry bed. For those of you who are watching who are unfamiliar with the game, very easy to look at quarry and think to myself, you know, Oh, you know, it's gets an extra bonus for mountains and think, oh, I need to find myself mountains. No, man, arid is where it's at. Just spam a ocean of arid quarries. That's how it's done. Big fan of that. We're getting our Pillar Edict up and running now. We have, yeah, it's turn 42. We have 200 stone per turn compared to Egypt's 36. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. So he's just going to run away with mountain. Sorry, wonder spam. Is what I meant to say. I don't know why I said mountains. Like to see the pillar edicts getting plopped down everywhere. That's the other thing that's really amazing about this simple wonder. Again, this comes from the Great Stupa. It allows you to pop your borders. It's only 20 stone, gives you 2 civics, gives you 2 legitimacy, takes 1 turn to build. It only takes 1 turn to build. It gives you a nice border pop. Super versatile, and the wonder lets you do it in every city. So we're building a pillar edict here, building a pillar edict here, and yeah, that's the Great Stupa for you, and it's fantastic. It's probably my new favorite wonder in the game. Building a pillar edict here. So his civic production is just going to jump up across his empire real quick. As well, he's going to get, how many cities does he have? He's going to get 12 legitimacy. That's pretty solid. Really nice. Opinion politics in Egypt is fantastic. The riders need to get on board, but I mean, otherwise, we're fantastic. Yep, barrack spamming everywhere. Classic, makes sense. Now's the time to do it. Get that order econ up and running. Orders is starting to do a slight lean towards Egypt. 18 per turn, 9 going into improvements. If we hop on over to, we have 16 with 9 going improvements, so there's about a 2 order difference between the two factions. So the Pillar Edict will actually help bridge that gap slightly, give us an order back. I want to see getting free horsemen now instead of navigation. I kind of really hate that for Ninja, but it's hard to say no to a 6 strength routing unit, so I do get it. 92 science per turn for the Marians. Slight lead. He's taking some serious damage over here, though. Ooh, I wonder if he'll grab the camel, too. Camel could be nice. He's building the Yaz as well. Oh, sorry. So the Necropolis, the Stupa, and the Yaz. The Necropolis is going to give you 3 civics in every pagan city. The Stupa is going to give you 2 civics in every city with a pillar. The Yaz is going to give you 20% civics in every city that has your holy has your state religion. So that's disgusting. Plus, every city except for Tripuri and up here gets bonus civics from being statesmen or sages. So he's just going to be a civics god in about 10 turns, which is just wild and crazy. Still spamming the quarries. I think Ninja's becoming a fan of Mario. I think we'll see a lot of Mario in the next tournament. I think Mario will be a hot pick for people. I don't necessarily think it's too strong. It might be. There's a case. I think there could be an argument that it is, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet. And but I definitely think it's reliable, and I think that's going to be the things that you see about the common picks. I think that was the thing about Carthage in the previous tournament. Carthage, of course, was really strong, but the other thing about that, part of the strength is the fact that basically, like when you're playing network play, you can't make mistakes, right? Every mistake that you make sets you back against your opponent. So you're competing in the sense that you're trying to play better than your opponent, but also if you just make a mistake, then that also swings momentum in their direction as well. So I think the thing about Carthage is that they're a very forgiving nation. You can make mistakes, you can mess up, and still have a decent game. I feel like Mario is probably on that level where it's a forgiving nation. Coming in with a horse. Already have quite a good amount of promotions on our archer. Nice. Hopefully this guy doesn't come up here. No, he can't get killed. That's nice. That's cutting it close. Ninja cuts it so close when he's clearing, and I kind of love it. Um, it can't backfire on you. It just backfired on my previous UAZ game. I was cutting it close, and then I lost both my step riders. So, I mean, UAZ is probably not somebody you want to try to cut close with, because you can really shoot yourself in the foot with that. Any eyes on ships being built yet? No ships being built. Navigation in one turn from Ninja, from the Marians. And we do have a champ city on the water. So, oh, did we get monasticism already? Oh, we got polytheism. So we're spreading our shrines around. We're doing the order shrine. Oh, we're doing civics as well. We're going to get an extra 2 civics from our shrine of Yama as well. So 2 civics from the Yama, 2 civics from the Pillar Edicts, 3 civics comboing off of the shrines and the necropolis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then boosted by 20% from the Yaz. That's basically the Marian Empire is basically going to have an extra 10 civics per city baseline, before any other specialist or improvements. Like resources like marble get factored in. It's going to be a base of 10 extra civics. That's gross. I'm going to step away just for one quick second while we look at Egypt, and forgive me. Alrighty, so what's Egypt got going on at the moment? We're getting 2 turns away from phalanx. We can adopt a law. We can also adopt monotheism and polytheism. The Egyptians also have an order shrine, so I would not be surprised to see them spam that. Do we have the Heliopolis in the game? Heliopolis is not in the game. Building an estate in the Sage seat. And still maintaining a science lead. Egypt is still taking a science lead over Marians. So there's still only about a 300 to 400 tech lead for the Marians in the tech tree, which is not much at all, not insurmountable. Still no ships yet in the ocean. Machinery in 4 turns for the Marians. We did get navigation just now, but no ships being built by Ninja. Oh, we do have a Grand Vizier on the throne, so there's probably that. And it looks like he will be clearing, he should be settling this site this turn, or next turn. And that's onward to the final continental site. Left, all that's left after this will be 2 islands. Really would like to see some tile buying here. Need 3 turns to get to colonies. I suspect this scout is probably hanging out here for that reason. We'll probably buy around his to connect, and then buy to connect. Ninja's doing really good on his economy. Maybe I'm wrong about his versatility or well-roundedness, but that's the thing. That's one of the nice things about the criticisms, right? Ninja is aware. I think we all are. I don't think any of us play this game thinking, "Oh, we do everything perfectly." For all my knowledge, I know I certainly don't. I think I mess up constantly. Right? I'm always making mistakes. But I think we do. I think each player individually from the tournament scene has specific weaknesses. That's very specific to them and their playstyle. I think we all have weaknesses. And I think Ninja is very aware of his weaknesses. And I think one thing that helps about rewatching some of these videos with the commentary is that it helps kind of reinforce, like, even if you're aware of, where your shortcomings are, having someone to kind of talk it out can help reframe your thinking. But yeah, Ninja's having a really, really good economy game right now. And I like that. I like to see that. And as an example of the type of stuff that I'm talking about, I'm not picking on Ninja, but as an example of the type of stuff that I'm talking about, it's like Ninja's the type of player who would like play this game right now and just would never even get land consolidation and build these groves. I mean, he has before, but then there were times where it's like, or right here, the nets. It's like he'll skip building nets. He'll skip building certain improvements that really are valuable on the long term. We have an oracle coming in. Nice. I kind of really like that this is getting put in the champ seat because it's going to help this culture build up. But that's now 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wonders going to the Marians. Really going to put a clock on Egypt to end this game at some point because there's no land route, right? So if Mario keeps spamming these wonders, they are going to be generating a shitload of points. Mario's going to have to come up with a game plan to deal with that. Not Mario, Egypt. And speaking of which, we have our first bireme being constructed. As if to say it's right on time. This also would be a fantastic quarry bed right here. What's happening over here? A hamlet, all right. Yeah, just think of the difference of that stone. And again, how many workers are we dealing with? I'm pretty sure Egypt has more, right? Look at this. Where are we? Workers produced. Yep, Egypt has 12 more workers. Well, 12 workers to Maria's 9 workers, right? But if we look at the stone economy, or even the economies in general, we're looking at 54 stone in Egypt to 226 for Maria. 69 metal to 0 in Egypt, negative even in Egypt. And Egypt is up 98 food to 40 something food for the Marians. But that's the kind of discrepancy we're dealing with. In fact, I'm curious. This is the real stat you're interested in, right? Even though each Aran has 3 or 4 more workers, their improvement time, their orders and time spent building improvements is actually almost exactly the same. Of course, at this stage, Ninja has built more wonders. So that plays a role. The Egyptians are grabbing citizenship next. Getting their officers online. I appreciate that Aran, as an experienced player, builds hamlets. Sometimes it feels like I'm the only one who builds hamlets. They're not a popular improvement. I think they're valuable, and I think they're nice if the game goes long. I think they can really pull their weight later on. And also, I'm just a fan of gold. We're rushing out some officers. I like that. Nice. Get right back to our boat afterwards. Barracks coming online. I really would like to see more boats. Although I guess that's the Grand Vizier again. My priority, if I were either of these players, if I were Mario, I would be focused on trying to take this city. If I were Egypt, I would be focusing on trying to get this city. I suspect Egypt is going to try and take this city first, which I guess is fine. But being able to threaten the core, I mean, imagine if you put a bunch of onagers all along this, right? Bunch of catapults. Now your opponent can't get ships from this central hub. I'm pretty sure an onager would be able to shoot through. Yeah, onagers up on these hills would be able to attack this entire bay. Really, really strong strategic potential in these locations. Shocked not to see some tile buying from our players. Still no colonies with Marians yet. Our schemer has taken the throne, though. Politics taking a little bit of a dip. Nice. Our patriarch is a Hun. That's cool. Are they dead yet? They're completely gone, but this guy is the last Hun leading the Zoroastrians' faith in the world. That is really, really cool. That's so cool. I love when stuff like that happens. I really like when stuff like that happens. It makes the game so neat and the world feel so much more alive. I suspect the Grand Vizier started this wall. And it looks like Ninja's just going to be content to allow it to finish. What else we have? The Mojave Hara would be the next one. The mausoleum is going to be gross. Egypt cannot get the mausoleum. Mario will absolutely get the mausoleum. That's going to be so gross. We have Buddhist monasteries coming up, and now we have the Mahabodhi temple coming up. Nice. Running council, I like that. Like that quite a bit. He's thinking about civics. Those of you wondering why, he's probably thinking about maximizing his civics production such that he can get himself into a position to build another wonder quickly. One thing, if he could get himself a border to the ocean, he could build a his wonders, his strong ocean wonders out there too. So if you want a really clever trick, it's super expensive, mind you, but if you want a really clever trick, since both of these cities are traders, not traders, sages, you could swap tiles along this entire border. The only thing you're not allowed to do is you can't bisect the border of a city, so he couldn't buy these tiles. You can't buy urbans, and you can't buy tiles with improvements on them. But there is a path here where Ninja could buy all of these tiles into his capital, taking no opinion hit penalties on this city, and then just tile buy out to this coast and put the Colosseum and the Chthon right here from the capital. How about that, right? That would be super cool to see, but of course, insanely expensive. So I don't know, maybe probably not worth it. Let's see if Egypt is going to make it to strong in any of his. Yeah, it looks like Egypt will be at strong in this city. In 8 turns, yep. So maybe we secure the Colossus. Maybe we secure the Chthon. Hey, welcome to the chat, Purple Blue Moose. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. I hope you've been finding the time to enjoy the expansion. It's been very, very much fun. Let's look at the charts for you. So the military score is even, both a little light at this stage at 450, 430. Ninja has taken his time clearing his side of the map. Aran has already fully cleared his side of the map. We have science. Ninja started out with a big lead, so currently has 200 more science into the tech tree, but a death and probably some other things had him take a dip here while Aran is getting, finally hitting his stride. So it's 180 and 118 to about 81. He's also starting to ramp up his ore production as well, and there was a dip in Maria. Maria does have most of the wonders under construction, though. He has a whopping 227 stone to Egypt's 49. So there's a massive economics difference there, especially in terms of securing wonders. Income certainly favors Egypt in classic fashion. Ninja finally finds himself into a negative deficit. Egypt, on the other hand, has a steady income. Food is also favoring Egypt. And wood, it favors Egypt as well because Egypt is making nice use. Well, at least he was. He was starting to build lumber mills down here. It looks like he's deviated to something else at this point, which is fine. But yeah, no, he had lots of fertile lumber mill area. And while Ninja does have forestry, he doesn't seem to be spending any time investing in a lumber economy. Anything else of note? One thing I found fascinating is that Egypt has 5 more workers than Ninja. If we look at worker turns, they're almost neck and neck on that. Egypt has put 254 worker turns into improvements to Maria's 237. So really not a massive lead in terms of things things built. In fact, both players, it's 70 improvements to 66. So Ninja is making his workers work a little bit more efficiently, I think. Ninja has 29 quarries to Aran's 12, by the way, which is wild. Laws, we're both at over 4 laws. One has 5, one has 4. Marians have 5. Yeah, so they're coming along nicely. It's only turned 50. Yeah, so they're both kind of hitting their stride, hitting their mid-game ramp up. I've been very surprised to see a lack of tile buying on this map. I feel like we've had very, very strategic opportunities to buy some territory. They are ocean locked from each other. They cannot reach each other by land. So that means they need to secure this site and they need to secure a land path. So if we take a look at Egypt, for example, Egypt theoretically still has the time because Ninja just settled the city a while, like 5 or 6 turns ago. Egypt could have had the time. He's building a boat to clear this, also tile by along here, either clear and settle this or absorb this into a minor city. I'd really love to see that. I think that would create an interesting tactical element for the Marians to deal with if there was a unlimited access landing point that you could not take away from your opponent. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, so not a lot of tile volume. We do have our first ship hitting the water from the Egyptians next turn. And we have the Marians building their first ships now as well. 4 turns for the champ seat, 6 turns for this other city up north. Nice to see the monasteries getting used from the Marians. The Marians have Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. So he's putting up a monastery from each religion in his capital region. Oh, and get this, by the way, if you haven't caught this yet, this is just so gross. So Ninja has secured the Yazakalaya, the Great Stupa, and the Necropolis. So what does that mean? That means every city, because of the Necropolis, is going to have 3 civics in it. That means every city, because of the Great Stupa, is going to have another 2 civics in it. So that's a 5 civics baseline. And then every city, because of the Yaz, is going to have a 20% civic boost. So these 3 wonders combined is going to give him something, plus the base civic rate, right? With no other additions to the city is going to give him something like ridiculous, like a baseline of 20 civics per turn in every city. He's at 17 right now in this Sage's seed. And he doesn't have a state religion yet. So he has not yet adopted a state religion. So the Yaz actually doesn't do anything just yet. But yeah. He's got 15 down here, 16 down here. That's gross. Yep, that's gross, man. And oh, also, yeah, the Necropolis isn't done yet. The Necropolis finishes next turn. So this city's going to jump up to 20. This city's going to jump up to 13. This city's going to jump up to 19, 18, 19. And yeah, as soon as he adopts a state religion, that's another 20% on top of that. Gross. Absolutely gross. And then, let's not forget, we're playing Mario, so all of our civic missions are discounted by half. So he's just going to be swimming in civics. Okay, we have Egypt anchoring a boat outside of the Danish site. He should be the first person who gets off of his coast into um, the ocean. I still think there's like a, I don't know. I would have liked to see a priority up on this northern site. Get yourself onto your opponent's land, but I guess that is risky. We can get divine rule or legal code. Legal code might actually not be that bad right now. We have pretty good order econ, and our civic econ kind of sucks. And there's a lot of opinion boosts associated with legal code. And I really like that the upkeeps were changed on these two laws. So I've actually been grabbing legal code more and more myself these days. All right. We have rhetoric coming up for the Egyptians, more officers coming online, another Byrene coming out, another officer coming out up top. Our Grand Vizier has died, so we're getting full officers coming online. Another Shrine of Ra. I suspect we're probably just going to dump the Shrine of Ra in every city and then call it a day. Don't really need to spam much more than that. We have lots and lots of judges in this empire. This is 4 judges I'm spotting. It's really nice. Probably explains why all the golden come. And what did we just get? We're getting sovereignty next. Cool. Cool. And scholarship is up on the table as well if we want it. Jurisprudence could be interesting with the amount of judges we have, but it might take too long to get there. Another Byron coming out for Ninjaa. Ramping up towards some action, I think. Oh, I'll be right back. 1 second. My apologies. Alrighty, I am back, so forgive me. And we have some progress made on the Danish camp in the islands, which is nice to see. Of course, our schemer, our Marian schemer scout, is keeping eyes on the action. Let's take a look. Yeah, we can see what's going on. So Maria knows that the Egyptians are staking claim to an island, or peninsula rather. The players are still on simultaneous. This has been a hour and a half of play. We're on turn 55 with some really strong progress from both players, so they're both playing at a very good clip. One of the nice things when you get more experience in this game, especially in the multiplayer meta, I think, because the game's a little bit faster in this meta, it can be nice playing with other experienced players because you can have quick games. Ninja and I have played a few games in the last week, and I don't think a single game went more than 3 hours, 3.5 or 4 hours. Which, of course, is still a long time. But it's neat that you can play a game of Old World in a single session. Nice. We're getting another monastery up and running. Really liking this play. I don't think I see this from... Yeah, we're not seeing this from Aran's side. He did get monasticism, and he got it, about 10 turns ago, right? But he doesn't have a priority. In fact, he doesn't even have a religion. So no foreign spread to him. Which is a bit unfortunate. He has landowners, really, so, I mean, between this and this, he has an easy shot at Judaism. He could get Judaism. I don't know how long that's been on the table for him. Considering that this worker was standing right there, probably not for too long. It does look like he is going to attempt to buy into the ocean and put the capital wonders in this location. I really hope we get to see that. Hey, Faye Griffin. He's actually behind on that front. Actually behind on that front. But yeah, he'll get his first ship into the ocean next turn. And we have an Egyptian ship already in the ocean. Hydraulics in one turn from Ninja, though. I commended this extension of the quarry bed, but he never bothered to expand it much further. He's doing all of his quarry spam down here. Which is fine, as long as you do it. It doesn't really matter where it gets done. This would be a good spot. This is a good spot. This is a good spot. This is a good spot. So, I mean, there's lots of good locations. We have the mausoleum secured. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. I would not be surprised if we go for vaulting next after hydraulics. Get ourselves iconography and then say, tick-tock, Aran. Ball is in your court. They're both similar in terms of power. So, I mean, yeah. Aran's going to have his work cut out for him. Politics in Mario looked good. Economy in Mario looked good. Yeah, so I don't think we're looking at a game where Ninja's going to hit one of his fall off here. He's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good here for the Marians. A little bit of a science rate lead on the Egyptians now, though. So that's nice. That's good news for Aran. Aran actually has 3 more technologies than the Marians at this point. So he's starting to climb ahead a little bit on there. Nice. Nice to see some more lumber mills coming up. We have steel coming online. Why do we want steel over machinery? Where are we going? Are we going? Oh, you know what I'd like to see? I'd love to see with the science rate we have like this. This is what I would love to see from Aran. Because you know you're going to deal with elephants, right? So I'd love to see buck the trends. Don't go to the normal stuff that you want. Drive right up to infantry square while building a bunch of warriors. Building slingers at the moment. Get your metal production online. We have some metal production coming online. But just keep spamming mines everywhere. Get yourself directly to pikes. And do a pike timing attack. I feel like that would surprise somebody. Although I guess if your opponent's building ballista, that pike could be a problem. And if you're facing Ninja, then you can probably rely on the fact that he's going to build onagers and ballista. All right. The last grab we can grab in the capital for the Marians will be the Monumental Buddhas, which will be a really nice grab for Ninja because that'll solve any political issues. Well, not solve, but will give him a lot of breathing room on that front. Another ship being built. Acolyte surprises me. But I guess we want to get to strong at some point, I suppose. Still no tile buying from anyone. All right, Civic boost coming online for the Egyptians. Another boat hitting the water next turn. Do we have a settler? Settler coming out in 2 turns for the peninsula. Anchor coming online. I think he's going to try and anchor right across here. Get himself ready to anchor it up. Which, I mean, if he can block this off, he can give himself a pretty reliable anchor station up north. I think things are about to get interesting. Things are about to get interesting. We have 48 turns to legendary for the Egyptian capital. 45, but that's going to go down once the mausoleum is finished. I suspect that'll go down to something like 21. Wait, how many turns are we away? 18. My guess is 18 when the mausoleum finishes. Let's see how close I am. 45 now, 30. Yeah, 18. 18. All right, the Egyptians are poking around, seeing what's happening up north, spotting the city of Amaravati. Amaravati. Moreton is cheering for the winner. So who is So who is that currently? I don't know. Tough call. Maybe Ninja? Hard to say. They're in very similar spots. Ninja has more points secured. He has a bunch of wonders, and he's going to get the rest of them. He's going to get the... Oh, the Heliopolis is in this game. I was wrong about that. I thought the Heliopolis wasn't in this game. Maybe that was my previous game. But yeah, so we're going to get... Mario will get the Mausoleum, the Monumental Buddhist, the Hagia Sophia, and the Heliopolis. So he'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, possibly 20 points from wonders alone. So that's just going to make it complicated for Aran, because if Aran can't win a decisive conflict, then there's just no way you're going to outscore somebody who has a 20-point lead baked into their empire. There's just no way. So Aran's going to need to do some serious damage in the future. Make a nice timing attack. I'd love to see him grab orthodoxy, so I'd love to see a doctrine grab from the Egyptians right now. That would be my preferred pick. Go everywhere you can to get a horse in a city. And there aren't actually a lot, now that I think of it. Oh yeah, he doesn't have much. This must have imported, right? Alright, we can import here, which is great. Alright, so import here. Yeah, doctrine grab. And start ortho-rushing out our unit, and then swallow... Oh, we have our tile buying happening at last. This should have happened ages ago. Yep, here we go. Are you gonna come to this side of the river? Gonna throw a unit away to buy this tile? I hope you do. Yeah, man. That's a bummer. Aran had navigation back on turn 40. You could have purchased along this coast. I mean, I guess he didn't have exploration back then. But he could have built a ship. This map is awesome. It's a very fun map. It's a very, very cool map. The point symmetry maps have been generating some really, really cool maps. Ninja and I have played a handful of games in the past 2 weeks. And all of our maps, except maybe one of them, were awesome. I think there was maybe one map that I think we weren't really feeling. Maybe that was somebody different. Maybe I played with somebody else in the map. So Aran and I had a really cool map. But unfortunately, I had a very, very bad start. So that game ended very quickly because he had an amazing start and I had a terrible start. So we kind of just called it pretty quickly. But the map was super cool. So yeah, point symmetry option has been generating lots and lots of cool maps. Now that they fixed the bonus city site popping up in the center of the map error that they had for a while. Really, really fun time. Okay, so we have another ship in the water for the Marians. We have some anchoring going on. Let's hop on to the Marians' perspective. Yeah, they can start. You probably could have anchored at a different location. Yeah, ballista is coming out. One ballista. And and it's the Marians who's doing doctrine. Marians are grabbing doctrine. I like that quite a bit. We have our assault elephants stomping around, ready to go. Stomping down the Brahmaputra River. I really, 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 really cannot express how happy I am that Indians are in this game. I like like the potluck, everybody mixing together type of civilization games. I don't really understand the type of people who get all bothered. There's a type of person who gets all hot and bothered when like Indians or Chinese show up in a game like this. And I personally, I would even love the Chinese to show up. I think that would be awesome. I think it would be really cool to see in the game. Uh, of course, I mean you're going to have some pitfalls, like the Odeons don't make much sense. You know, there's certainly a Greco-Roman slant to some things, and yeah. But no, man, I would love to see more. I like seeing more of the world. So like the Egyptians versus the Marians is the battle I want to see. Um, or Carthage versus the Tamil, battle at sea, battle for ocean supremacy. Why not? That sounds awesome. Two notoriously powerful naval powers going up against each other. I'm gonna really need to do a guide on turning, swapping from simultaneous to tight. Because I think it's very difficult to mess up. But I'll talk about this. I'll talk about it here in the event either of these players listen to this video, or in case any of you listening or joining in on the chat now play 1v1 games and start the first half of the game simultaneous. So basically, the thing is, with simultaneous turns, both players are taking their turn at the exact same time, which means if it's turn 59, it's turn 59 for both of us. What that means, though, is that technically speaking, the responsibility is on the host of the game, the first player of the game, to make sure that they inform the second player of the game that they're going to swap to tight the turn before they swap to tight. So, as an example, if we're on turn 59, the second player, in this case, Maria, needs to know that tight is happening on turn 59 when it's going to happen on turn 60. And the reason for that is because if we end our turn and we both start taking our turn on turn 59, and we've been playing in simultaneous for the past 10, 12, 15 turns, well, I, as Mario, I'm going to move this warrior, I'm going to move this slinger, I'm going to move this guy, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to spend like 5, 10, 15, half of my orders by the time it takes you, especially in my case, because I'm a super fast player, and by the time it takes you to actually type, oh, hey, we're switching to tight, right? So what that means is you as a first player can then go on and take your turn on turn 59. But me as a second player now have lost 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, half my orders. In some cases, it's happened to all of my orders, right? Um, you basically lose your whole turn. Now, here is where it gets weird and tricky. The second player actually doesn't have the same responsibility, right? Let's say it's turn 59, and the first player is taking all of his moves, building a worker up here, building, this guy, doing whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, let's say Ninja does this aggressive tile buying, and he says, "Hey, we need to swap to tight." And what you call it? Forgive me. Aran is halfway through his turn. That doesn't have the same impact necessarily because the second player always moves after the first player anyway. So the second player would have been able to do these surprise moves even if the first player had 40 orders, right? Even if they did it under a strict timeline. So it's not as big of a deal if it's the second player who says, "Oh, hey, by the way, we need to swap to tight," and then maybe throws a couple archers across the bay at you, because they'd be able to do that on their turn out of order anyway. But it's the host who plays first who sometimes has these awkward opportunities where suddenly they get like to anchor a ship and then land units technically on the same turn or whatever, or like back to back, because their opponent doesn't get to react. So basically, long story short, the host has a little bit more of a responsibility in terms of the sportsmanship angle of it, of being like, oh, hey, just a heads up, we're about to come to blows next turn. Um, that way, I, as a second player, have an opportunity once it rolls over to turn 60 to not take any of my moves and wait for you to actually physically to swap it to tight, rather than having you swap it to tight while I've already spent half of my orders. And it's not a big deal. I've never run into an issue, too much of an issue. Sometimes I'll give people shit, but I normally am just joking about it. Normally I just joke. Um, but it's a little bit of a hiccup. That said, playing simultaneous is amazing. I think it makes these games so much easier to do in network. I think it's almost essential to play the first 20, 30, 40 turns in simultaneous. So, you know, it's not a big deal if it comes with a little hiccup. All right, so it looks like we're building some ranchers now for the Egyptians. Finally going to get that Judaism in the game. We're building one up here. And it looks like, I mean, we could purchase it if we wanted to. Machinery in 2 turns from the Egyptians. And we know our Marian friends already have hydraulics. So we're just slightly behind in pacing here. Anchoring down here on this peninsula, I really like this. I would love to see Egypt shoot across and take this city. Does he have a settler queued up already? Doesn't look like it. And through all my rambling, did we ever get doctrine? No, we didn't. That's a bummer. Well, the Marians are about to have doctrine, I believe. Take a peek. They have phalanx. Did they get doctrine? No, they didn't. They swapped off of doctrine. They had doctrine queued up for a second. They swapped to phalanx. Okay. Does make sense when you have Egyptian Lancer looking at you. A couple more Byrenes coming out. Ballista coming out. Stompy Boy is ready to stomp around town. What are we building? A watermill? Watermill is up and running. Watermills are all getting spammed. We're about to have our hydraulics science spike. Really loving the use of the monasteries here. Really like to see this from a non-cleric nation, just grabbing this monasticism relatively early, turn 41. And really making use of the monasteries. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, Ninja's a phenomenal player. Ninja is a really strong player. He's a strong, reliable player. He's really fun to play. Some of my best games have all been with Ninja. And yeah, he plays a good game. Looks like these guys are going to have to wrap up in 10 minutes. A bit unfortunate. I do not believe I will be able to have... Will not believe I'll be able to spectate. But I'm really glad we have a nice multiplayer scene. So if you are watching after the fact on YouTube, or you are with us live in chat right now, and you are not already on the Old World Discord, hop on. That's where all these players have met, and where we hang out and chat and coordinate games. It's the easiest way to meet new people and start playing multiplayer games. And the vast majority of us are all happy to just play with random people who message us. That's most of the people who I play with are people who just message me randomly. So don't think, I don't want to talk myself up here or anything, but don't think just because I'm like a personality that's streaming this game that you can't just shoot me a private message and ask if I want to play. I will most likely be very happy to play. Um, I've become quite fond of multiplayer games, and I like playing players of all skill levels. I like playing really good players because playing really good players is a fun challenge, but I also like playing less experienced players because less experienced players allow me to experiment. You know, I can take things a little bit more chill, don't have to feel too bound to certain metas and types, and I can try out new strategies because I'm always trying to think of new ways to flex the systems in the game. So I really don't care too much about winning or skill levels or things like that. So if you're looking to get into multiplayer, feel free to join the Discord and ask people to play. I actually want to check out the orders now. Whoa! Egyptian orders are nuts. 62 orders per turn to Ninja's 31. If anything, this is going to be the thing that gets Ninja in the end. Aran is going to be able to move his military way better. They both have a similar military. Aran's slightly stronger, so the mobility and the flexibility of this army is going to be swing in Aran's favor. Let's try and figure out what is contributing to that. I have a guess. Yeah, so far I'm right. Although there aren't that many horses. But so far, we have no husbandry on the Marians. So we're missing an order here and an order here. And I believe we're putting ranchers in these spots. Nope, just one. All right, so that's one order difference. Yeah, man, where are these orders coming from? We don't have an orator. We do have riders, and our opponent does not. So that's another 2. Divine rule? Yeah, divine rule. Yes, that's it. Divine rule versus and monotheism. Yes, cool. Divine rule and monotheism. Such a powerful combo. It's 16 orders right there for you. There's the 21 order difference, actually. The 16 orders from this, the 2 from the rider seat, and the 1 from the ranchers. That's your 21 order difference. Right there. Yeah, Faye, I'd be happy to play. Those orders are crazy. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I wonder if we'll get started with an attack. I suspect Aran probably, since Aran has to leave in 10 minutes, I suspect he won't bother launching an attack just yet. But no, it's going to look quite nice for him. That's insane. Although, let's take a look at... Yeah, 7 being sent to improvements for the Marians. And 17 are being built on improvements for the Egyptians. Wow, looking quite good for the Egyptians now. Now we're really cooking. I do not believe we're 38 turns to strong compared to 35. But we have the mausoleum coming out. And what did I say? This is going to bring us down to 18-ish points by the time this is done. 18 turns, rather. So I don't think the Egyptians are getting Heliopolis this game. Really nice capital, though. 33 civics per turn. Wait, does Ninja even have a... Ninja still needs to adopt a state religion, buddy. You're kind of skipping a step. She'd adopt Zoro. Because his Yazakalaya is not doing anything. I wonder if he's aware of that. All right, Egypt repositioning the ship into a safer location. That does make sense. Let's see if we can put a general on this. I like putting hero generals on ships. Hero generals on ships make a nice combo because you can't really heal out in the open sea. Heroes and tacticians, I think, are probably the 2 best generals to toss on a ship. Although I guess zealots are good too. They're all good. They're all good. But I love a hero for healing. Really can make a ship a tough nut to crack. Hello, Boldus. Welcome to the chat. This game will be wrapping up shortly, unfortunately, so just in time to catch the tail end of it. Very strong startups and setups from both players. Ninja is doing quite a bit of wonder spamming. On the other hand, Aran is just cooking with oil. He's got 7 laws now. In fact, I'm just noticing that for the first time here. Ninja now has 7 laws. And he's building his citadel. So in 6 turns, we will see a mounted Lancer power spike. Again, I would still really, really love him. He's got 61 orders per turn, which is insane at this point. So I would love him to leverage Doctrine. He had an opportunity to grab it last time it came around and didn't. And I think that probably a bit of a misplay, but he still has time before the Citadel finishes up. So after Machinery, I really would love to see Aran grab Doctrine, adopt Orthodoxy, and then he could take a couple of turns and nuke a couple of Lancers onto the map. Ninja is not aggressive anymore since the Ballista nerf. Oh. Okay. Well, that's good to know, because if that's true, Morton, I think it's made Ninja a better player. Because I think his all-in Ballista strategy was good and it would work, but I also didn't think it led to... I don't think it led to the best overall habits. But, I mean, clearly he's doing fine. His economy's insane right now. Economy's really good. He had 278 stone per turn, nearly 100 food per turn, 63 iron. And we have Stompy Boys rolling in to secure a city site. We have an Egyptian militia out here, probably just spying on things. Yeah. Keeping an eye out for things. Be curious to see... Oh, the Oracle is finished, so we have a hand size of 5 cards now, which is nice. That really increases your efficiency in moving through the tech tree. It's actually funny to think how similar having the Oracle and having a Scholar on the throne actually is in terms of tech pacing. They're a lot closer than you might think. So I think the Oracle is a bit of an underrated wonder, because it's kind of like having a Scholar the entire time. Ninja is a prolific player. I don't know. I love that he's able to find the time to play all of us, because I've had quite a few games against him in the last week as well. I'm playing one now that I streamed earlier in the day, and I don't think it's going to go very well. But we're more even than I was expecting. I had a very, very big setback at the USE, unfortunately. That is a great nation, but they're very easy to mess up the opening with. And unfortunately, I had a game where I messed up the opening. All right, we're doing some tile buying. More tile buying out here. There it is. Okay. We're going to have some really nice mobility across the map on Ninja's side. Kind of goes back to what I was talking about a while ago, where Aran hit the navigation timing first. And he actually did get a boat into the water first, in fairness. But he has a better gold economy, but didn't choose to leverage tile buying so much. Be interesting to see how that plays a role long term. All right, so this game's wrapping up. I'm going to do a quick recap on the stats for our players, and then we'll call it quits for the day. The national wealth. Ninja is actually wealthier than the Egyptians at the moment because of his economy. He's got lots of stone income. We have total population, 46 population for the Egyptians compared to Ninja's 24. 36 specialists to 17. That shows a highlight there of the landowner capabilities. You got better growth, and you've got faster specialist production in those rurals. Also, the Jeron Aqueduct went to the Egyptians, so that's 6 specialists right there, by the way. Military units produce 16 to 9, so if Aran can really hammer that mounted Lancer power spike, he should be good to go, which is, again, another reason why I'd really, really love to see him cycle to Doctrine here. You figure you adopt a Doctrine at 60 orders per turn, and you spend 2 to 4 turns spamming as many units as you can with as many orders as you can. Literally, you don't need to move anything else. You don't need to do anything else with your orders. Just spend 2 to 4 turns just rushing units out, and suddenly you have an extra 10 units or 12 units inside of 2 to 4 turns, and which is more units than anyone can produce in any amount of time under the same circumstance. So anyway, back to some stats. Laws, 7 laws for the Egyptians, 6 for the Mauryans, 23 texts on the Egyptians to 20, and then improvements controlled 108. So there's a net worker advantage for the Egyptians, but Mari has been keeping up quite nicely. Work returns, lot more work returns in Aran's situation though, and then science. Science is an Egyptian lead, but only an extra 80 science in the tech tree. Yeah, so that's fun. And gold econ favors the Egyptians, but Ninja's actually positive now, which is quite nice. And anything else good? Yeah, look at this stone. This is crazy. Look at the stone production. 265 to 66. So an extra 200 stone per turn, which means the Egyptians are getting no wonders in this game. And Mari's going to have no problem crapping out onagers if he needs them. All right, so that sums it up for this session. I do not know if I will be able to resume streaming the second half when the action heats up, unfortunately, because I will be going away for the weekend. But yeah, if I'm around or if I can convince someone else to cover the match, that'll be cool. And maybe we can see the second half. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me while I played earlier today. If you've been around for most of the day, and if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, I appreciate you being here as well. And please like, subscribe, and join the Discord if you want to get in on all the fun and the action. See you around.